We have to go home today. Yes, it's that sad moment in any trip when you realise that today is the day that you actually have to go back home and leave this amazing place. This is the Amanpulo Resort in the Philippines. It's just been awesome here. I've been spending the last 2 days making a video on what it's like to be here, which I'll release on the channel in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, we have to head back to Melbourne today. Now, most people would think that this is a bad thing, but to get back to Melbourne, we actually have to jump on 3 planes. 3 planes!
Thank you very much.
Thank you, it's really nice to meet you.
I hope to see you again soon. I hope so. I hope so too.
Bye-bye, thank you. See you. Bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you for everything.
Just let your head.
No problem.
Take Brooks there. Thank you. Just a 1 hour flight from Pamalican Island to Manila today, back on the Dornier 228 like we were on the way out here. I love the inside of this fuselage. It's like a rectangle, sometimes referred to as the flying bus, which is pretty fitting, I think, considering its shape and the fact it does these really frequent short hops in between the islands, especially out here in the Philippines. The only thing I will say about the Dornier is there is supposed to be air conditioning on board, but I don't think it reaches us. We're down here on the back. So air conditioning is quite a manual thing, but apart from that, I really like these planes. It's actually quite windy today, but it's fairly stable up here. We're just at 11,500 feet, I think, at the moment. But despite the wind down below, a bit of a rocky takeoff. And there's a few clouds coming into Manila as well, I can just see out the window, so it's not too bad. There's sort of light turbulence here over the sea. There might be a little bit more chop as we get into closer to Manila and as we get closer to landfall. So we'll see how Jackie goes, but hopefully she'll be alright. For someone who doesn't like small planes, she's doing brilliantly right now. All right, number 1 plane done. Oh, hang on one second. Thanks.
A bit small for
You've done this before. Qantas. They split you up here at the airport in security into male and female, so males go to the left, females go to the right. It's a bit like the toilets in a pub. The female queue is a lot longer than the male one, so I'm here just waiting for Jake to come through. She's just being frisked. She's got her bags. Update, she's got her hat. Now she has to put her shoes on. I was just explaining that the male queue is shorter than the female queue, just like the toilets in a pub.
Yeah. Women have a lot more crap.
Boarding pass ready for verification for ground stop.
Do you want any mangoes? Thank you. If you're flying Qantas from Manila Airport and you're flying business and you want to get into one of the lounges, they've got what's called the PAGS lounge. You'll get an invitation to use that, but if you are a One World Emerald status frequent flyer, then you can also get into the Cathay Pacific business class lounge that they have here in Manila Airport as well, which is where we are now. Now this is based on the very popular lounges that Cathay operate out of Hong Kong Airport, which I did cover on this channel before, so click on the link above if you want to have a look at those videos. The Pier in particular, the first class lounge they have at Hong Kong Airport, is fantastic. It's awesome, and it has this really cool noodle bar, and that's where we are right now. So we're just going to grab some food before getting on the next flight, and you can just order a la carte, things like wonton soup, vegetable dumplings. After all the backlash that people were giving to Greg's, the bakery in the UK, after they introduced a vegan sausage roll, not sure if I was going to include this segment or not, but the Cathay Lounge has a vegan burger, like a mini slider. Some of you will hate this, some of you will like it. Okay, bye Manila, and now jumping on board our Qantas A330 to take us to Sydney. I almost forgot then. Yeah, we're going to Sydney. Also, this doesn't bother me too much on the flights because I don't often watch the movies, but the IFE, the in-flight entertainment system on the aircraft, isn't working on this flight. So 7 or 8 hours back to Sydney. A lot of people, especially with kids, that's not too good because there's nothing really to watch on the screen, so they're giving out free magazines instead. Yes! Out the window, we're flying over the ocean, it's the middle of the night. There's a quick dinner service on Qantas. I've got to say the food on board Qantas I think keeps getting better. That orecchiette pasta was very tasty, and I had a cauliflower soup to start. That was really nice. A quick thank you before I go to sleep on this flight as well to everyone who's tuned in and watched the Philippines vlogs. It's a bit of a new experiment for me, so look, thank you for all the encouragement, the brilliant comments, the feedback, everyone who's watched the videos. I really do appreciate it. I've got some more travel coming up in about a week's time where I'm heading off to Singapore and then Laos, so if you're interested in the travel vlogs, I'll be posting those. But tonight I'm going to get some sleep before we get to Sydney, then we're flying from Sydney to Melbourne on a domestic flight. I won't film that because it's Sydney to Melbourne on a domestic flight, but the day after we're flying back on KJN from Melbourne to Sydney. That doesn't make sense. Why don't I just stop in Sydney tomorrow?